How's it, guys? Welcome to Freaky Friday Tip. This is going to be a continuation of our live bait series, and today we're going to be doing a non-return slide for Kob with the added tip of sliding on braid. So we get asked this question quite often in the shop. Can you slide on braid? Yes, you can, with a little bit of modification to your trace, by just adding a little bit of bungee cable, which we'll go through now. So terminal tackle that you're going to need, obviously for Kob, we're going to beef our trace up quite a bit. So anything between a 0.80 to 1 mil, even 1.2 mil. Hook sizes, between a 9 to 8. Kob has a really big mouth, so you need a little bit of a bigger hook. Obviously, guys, size your live bait to your hook. Don't go put a 10 on a pinky. And then obviously your non-return slide. And then because we're sliding with braid, we're going to need a swivel, and I'm going to show you guys what we're going to do with that. Not such a big one, but for demonstration purposes, we're just using a big swivel. Okay, so the trace is pretty much the same as the other one, as your Garrick one, as the previous episode one. It's just a lot beefed up. 1 mil line, same knot, drop a loop. If you guys haven't seen this knot, you can drop by and check the other video. It's there. How to tie it, it's on that video. So there you go, guys. The drop a loop is done. You can make it a little longer here. Let's get it to set properly. There you go. That's it there. Now with the, obviously, sometimes I tend to leave my trace like this and tie my catch hook. This will be a carrier hook. My catch hook, once I see the live bait size, because of the live bait size with the quarantine stuff, it does tend to differ, being small, whatever. So I like to tie this normally just before I slide, once I got my live bait. But for demonstration purposes, we're just gonna make it a little bit longer, and I'm gonna leave it there. Normal figure of 8 there, guys. Nothing fancy. If you need to see this knots that I'm tying on this trace, you can pop out to the previous video. Okay, so all the difference between the Garrick and the Kob trace, the distance between the two hooks is a lot longer, and obviously the line thickness, it's beefed up quite a bit, and hook sizes as well. Same with the wishbone, T-knot, whatever you guys want to call it. I got it on there. Trace wise, I go same length, 1.8, 1.5. Cut it off there, adding on my non-return slide, and that's your trace done. So these are really quick traces to make. You can make this on the beach. It takes you a couple seconds to do. Okay, trim off your tie ends. There's it there. So that's your completed trace. Now the added tip to it is going to be for the braid part. So with braid, it doesn't have stretch. So adding the stretch, allowing your slide to bounce a bit more, is all we're going to do is add a bit of bungee cable, bungee cord, if you want to call it that. You don't need a really thick one. Any size would work. It's basically just there to add on a bit of bounce. So where we would normally tie our sinker, I'm going to tie my bungee cord now. Just a normal figure of 8, nothing fancy there. Pull it tight. Let me tie again. And you don't need a really long piece, guys. Something that's short like that, around 25-ish or centimeters. Yeah, 25, 30 centimeters will do. I'm just going to trim that off there. And then I'm going to tie my swivel. Just a figure of 8 there as well. Now, guys normally used to tie their sinkers straight on there. I prefer not to, because if you do get snagged, it's going to be very hard for you to snap this bungee. So what I like to do there is, to add the swivel and then add a bit of a small piece of mono there to allow that if the sinker does get caught with the loop on the sinker line, it would snap. Okay, so I'm just going to add my sinker and then show you guys the complete and finished product. We have 8 there, guys, nothing fancy. There's a small piece of mono there, so if it does get snagged, I can obviously snap off my sinker and land the fish or retrieve my trace back at least. Okay, so there we have it. That's the only tip that you're gonna need to slide on braid, is add a short bit of shock leader, or I mean bungee cable, sorry, to your line. So obviously, if your braid is coming down here, you got your shock mono. If you want not, if you don't like it, you can just go straight to your from your braided leader to this. I prefer to fish a small shock, and then, so when I say small shock, it's a bit of mono from your braid leader. Then I'll tie this onto my swivel like we did the last time, which is connected to our solid ring. Nothing different there. And you're ready to go. So my braided leader is coming from there onto my shock leader, onto my solid ring, to a bit of bungee cable, and then a swivel, and then my sinker line. So yet again, so as I said, as I explained in the start of the video, braid doesn't have any shock, and by adding this here, you guys can see we're creating that shock. So that there is going to allow you to shake off that bait better down to the sinker. So your actual slide would still sit as normal. Get the slide on there for you guys. So it'll sit there as normal. So that bungee does not affect anything. So even for whatever reason the bungee snaps, you're still gonna land your fish, because your solid ring is actually the stopper to your slide. Hey guys, let me just grab a bait and I'll show you guys how I pun for cob. Okay guys, we got a crusty yellow mackerel here. But it's for bait demonstration, so I'm not gonna really worry about freshness. So obviously now when I explained, I'll normally tie this hook here, my catch hook, before I put my bait, and the reason being is I can actually measure the distance that I want it and then tie it on. But for now I'm just going to show you guys leaving this loop loose, but generally you don't want too much of loose line there. So my carrier hook is going to go same like the Garrick, through the top there. I'm gonna fight with a frozen bait here, but let's see if we can get it to work. But us, okay, through the back there, like so. And then my second hook, I'm gonna come either at the bottom here or the center. I'm just gonna come lightly through the skin, turning it out. Okay, the mackerel is doing the same to us. It's breaking because it's frozen, and it's not a fresh bait, but that's it there. So that's how the way hook placement would be for a cob. That's how I would place them, the hook placement for a cob. Reason being is cob generally feed from the tail going down. So it'll come, inhale the bait there, and you'll be tight. So that's it, is there. As always, the T wishbone, T stopper knot, whatever you want to call that, that's gonna stop the hook from turning into the fish. Carry your hook not too deep into the fish, and you're good. Thanks, guys.